I'm on mute. Hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are joining us from. Our guest is facing some technical glitches. She's trying to join from a device. The current device is not working well. She's facing some issues related to mic, so she's not audible. So, in a short while, she will be back with us. She's fixing the device and joining us back very shortly. So, stay tuned. I'm here. I hope you all are doing well. Good to see you, Zinnia and Mr. Vidya Shankar Rai. A very warm welcome. Our guest is facing some technical issue. She will be joining back with us in a short while. Let's wait for her.
Can you switch off the mute TV? Am I audible?
Am I audible, Shivangi?
Yes, now I can hear you. But this is through phone.
But you are not audible. Still not
Still?
audible. No. I don't know, like, what's wrong? I'm unable to hear you. She's just joining back. We could fix the issue. She's joining back in a while. Thank you so much, everyone, for your patience and for your precious time. Our guest is joining us in a short while. Hi, Pinky. Hello, Mr. Vidya. Hello, Zinnia. I'm glad to see you all. Ms.Shivangil is joining in a while. Yeah, she's here. Hi, Shivangi.
Hi, Asna. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, Shivangi?
I'm also good, thank you. So, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible now.
Okay, great. Thank
Yeah,
God.
finally you're audible. So we have
Yes.
with us Ms. Shivangi Reja. She is our guest for today and she is a published author. Recently she got her book published, Connecting Dots, and she's also founder of Connecting Dot, a learning platform. She is a pedagogical leader and a career clarity coach and also a personal growth coach, if I'm not wrong, Ms. Shivangi, and she's joining us all the way from India. So, a very warm welcome to you, Shivangi. Writing a book is no mean feat. We understand how much hard work, how much efforts you put in writing that book, and we have good news to share with all of you. Shivangi's book is now an Amazon bestseller. So, amazing work, Shivangi. Many congratulations, and we are happy to have you with us. So, let's
Thank
get
you.
started. Please
Thank you
introduce
so much.
yourself.
Thank you so much, Asna, for that long and warm welcome. I'm just getting used to it. So, thank you so much, first of all, and also thank you for giving this opportunity and creating this platform where we can take it to more number of people. So, yes, thank you. And I would like to know, Asna, I mean, since you've given this information, and I just got to know this yesterday only that it is now like my book Connecting Dots is now available. I mean, expecting to soon as it was my first book. But yes, thanks to the readers, thanks to the audience, and their overwhelming response that I received. So I have gratitude towards all my readers and universe. Thank you.
Wonderful, great work, Shivangi. So, I just want to know from you that when did you first realize that you want to be an author or a writer? When did that realization came to you?
Okay, that's a good question. To be honest, as a child, as a student, I would say whenever I used to be in the library, in the school library, browsing through the books, I always used to feel that, okay, wow, I mean, this is the title and this is the author. And that used to inspire me that, yes, sometimes even I would want my book to be published with, the name Author-Shivangi Reja. But that was somewhere in my subconscious mind, Aslam. I mean, I never thought that we all carry the kind of limiting beliefs with us, and growing through, I also always had that I come from a small place and maybe my English is not that good. And above all, it's like when we talk about authors, the way we think and we perceive them is like, they all are quite famous and big shots, so you can't do that. How can you be an author? So that limiting belief used to always make me feel that no, I mean, you cannot be. And I was like, no, okay. But yes, just last year, I would say that while interacting with my children again, I was just discussing and sharing about my life journey one night with them. And a kind of spark in my children, like I have a daughter and a son. So my daughter told me that, Mama, your life seems to be really inspiring. You've done so many things. Why don't you write and make people know that what kind of challenges you faced? And that made me feel okay. Yeah, is it? Is it? I asked her that. Are you sure? Is it inspiring enough? And I was still doubting myself, not very sure. But when she said, I thought yes, I should, and I started thinking on that note. And that was a kind of ignite, I mean, I would say spark that ignited. And I thought, though, I should give it a try. And yes, when you decide something, I feel with perseverance, with determination, and when you have determination to do something, I think road starts opening, a lot of things starts opening towards you and you start getting your way. So that's what happened. And yes, thankfully, I followed my heart, I followed my children's desire. So, with that thought of inspiring people and leaving a kind of legacy for my children, these two were major motivations that made me feel that yes, I should write. And that's what actually was the trigger behind writing the book.
What a wonderful journey you had, and finally you could do what you wanted to do as a child. So like you were able to catch that dream and you made that dream into a reality. So again, many congratulations, Shivangi. And my next question is like, I'm just curious to know about the making of that book, the time duration that it took. So how long does it take you to write that book? I'm just curious to know.
Okay, right. See, I started that. So as you know that I'm also an educator and I'm a full-time employee. I work in a school as an early years coordinator as well. So, on a serious note, I started writing it from January onwards, and I still remember the date 20th January was the first time I sat with my diary and I started making notes and drafting what exactly will I write, what would be the chapters, what should I write, and it should begin with what should be the beginning chapter, what should be the title. So it all began in January, and I think overall it took me 3 months. 3 months of time was, yes, good enough, though there was a lot of research, a lot of I would say, when we work in a school, you also have term and reports and a lot of things. So all those things kept me busy, and I was not always occupied. Like I would say, if I started in January, it was not that every day I was only writing my book. There were, it was written in bits and pieces. So there were days when I could write for 2 days continuously. Then I had to take a pause and do my other, daily chores, and then continue with the book. So yes, I think if people really want to write, depends on their situation. They can write from 30 days to 3 months. I think it's a good time to complete a book.
I understand you have a very busy schedule because being a pedagogical leader, we need to see a lot many things, while so that we can ensure the smooth functioning of the school. So my next question for you, Shivangi, is like, how about your work schedule? What is your work schedule when you are writing? How do you manage that? Right? It's very important that being a writer, you ensure that there is a balance. So how do you ensure that? What is your work schedule? Right? How do you find time for writing?
Okay, that's again a good question because not everyone, like people see your achievement, they see you're an author, you've written a book. But yes, what goes behind the scene is something which is often unnoticed and unseen. So I think it's a question that would make a lot of people realize what actually happens. So I would, as I said, that I work in a school and that's my first and primary job. That's what, like, I really worship my work. So for me, I always felt that if I'm in a school, in no ways I should affect my job, right? That's my first priority. Other than that, I'm a mother of two children. I have household chores. So all these things are of course there. And apart from these things, I had to find some time so that I can continue writing and finish my book because I gave myself a deadline. I did know that I have to finish my book by 28th of April because that was the launch date of my book. So I had no reason to actually skip that because it was already decided by a community. My book launch dates were fixed. The event was fixed. So I knew that I can't look back, So I have to finish it by the first or second week, maximum first week of April because then it takes time to go to the publisher, editing, a lot of other things are there. So that's what it is. But then I started as I said, in order to keep all the work and things in place, I started getting up early. Though I started it last year only, but then I made sure that I'll get up in the morning by 5 so that I get some me time. I used to spend some, like, I do follow my morning ritual, which begins with meditation and, some exercise, morning affirmation, visualization. So that one thing that I followed every day was visualizing myself like to be an author and how my things would be. Apart from those things, after that 1 hour, I used to give dedicatedly 1.5 hour to write. So in the morning, you're fresh mind, you're done with your daily rituals, and then I used to sit and jot down my points. So that was something that I used to do in the morning, plus in the weekends, because then you get time and I used to really steal time from my schedule because when I was in school from 8:30 to 4, I was fixed. My routine was that I'm in school. When I come back, I give some time to my kids. I used to take some rest. And then after cooking food, at night, 1 to 2 hours I used to spend. So this was my routine, where in the morning and usually at night, I used to give time to writing. And I used to take help. Like, it's not just me. I feel when you're a writer, along with you there are a lot of people who support you, who help you, and the most important ones are your family members. So yes, while I was juggling through so many chores and so many roles, they were the ones who understood and who supported me. So because of their support, like my husband, my children, I could do this along with managing all the other work.
Wow, it's good to know about the behind the scene, what has happened with you, because people usually see the tip of the iceberg. They don't know what has, that person gone through. So, and like family members are real support systems. As you said, that your family has greatly helped you. So, that is something, which makes a person successful. If he or she has a better support system, everything else, fall in place. So, I am just, interested to know what is your favorite writing mantra. So, like as a writer, what is something that you think, no, I'm like really good at this, and this is my mantra as a writer. So, just share that with the audience. We would love to hear that.
Writing mantra as in, I mean, I would want if you could elaborate that.
So, what is something that you think, no, that is my USP? Like this is something which I really own, and this is something which makes me a unique writer than everyone
Mhm.
else.
Okay, so then that's a very simple thing that I follow. I always follow that. I believe that just be you, whatever you are, be authentic. And I think as a writer also, I have kept that in mind throughout the book. It's a non-fiction book. It's based on my real life. Everything that is mentioned in the book is what I do, what I have done, what has happened with me in the past, my reflections, my learnings, my nothing that I've tried to hype or just to make people feel. Or I mean, I've tried to the best of my ability. I've kept it very simple, did not follow or use anyone's writing style. I thought that whatever I'm writing, it should reach to my readers, my audience, straight from my heart. And I used to try that. It was a trial because it was my first attempt as a writer as well. I am not a professional writer, so I was struggling. I used to feel while writing there were inhibitions at times, that whether it will be understood by the people, whether I'm writing, is it impactful, is it okay, or is it too simple? So those were the questions and doubts that I carried. But I then thought that it's okay. I mean, I just have to be natural, whatever best I can do. So that one thing, one mantra that I followed was be authentic. And I always tell everyone that be you. So that's the thing.
Wow, I would learn two things from you, that you could reflect whatever you have been through. So you shared your experiences, you shared your reflections, and you were authentic throughout. Yes, authenticity, truly matters, and you did it so very well, and that's how you became one of the top-notch author at Amazon. Amazon has recently recognized your contribution to the world of writing. So what would you say is your interesting writing quick? What is something that is an interesting writing quick for you?
Right. So it's like your baby, everything what you have written is yours. So I would not, it is going to be unfair to decide one or two things, because whatever, as I said, is written, it's quite close to me. And I've actually reflected, and I used to make draft of what would I want people to know and what message am I going to try, I'm going to portray or put across to them. Uh, but yes, if you would ask one particular chapter or something that I have to take out, I would say the second chapter that I've mentioned, family values and beliefs of my book. That is quite close to me because there I'm talking about how I grew up as a child, in a joint family with 16 people, with cousins. And it also talks about values and belief systems, that where an individual, they get their value system from. So I think that's quite close to me, because anyone or whosoever would read the book, they'll be able to somehow connect with that. They would be able to go back to their childhood days and would be able to connect that, okay, yes, this is what happened with me. Because there I've mentioned, I mean, I would not say or disclose everything what's there, but yes, I'm letting you know in bits that it talks about, how we keep bringing up and keep collecting our own reflections and belief systems, starting from childhood in school. When we go to school, how your friends, your teachers leave an impact on you. When you're at home, your parents, your siblings, what kind of language they use with you, and what kind of things you're constantly listening actually leaves a lasting impression on you, on your mind. And that's where you actually become your personality. Your entire personality as an adult is, it comes from your childhood actually. So that's something which is very close, and I'm sure anyone whosoever will read it will be able to connect with that.
Wonderful, amazing. I understand, like, you have shared a complete snapshot of what gives us an identity. Yes, it is our childhood, the people, our relationship, and like the community where we are. So I just want to know about what part of the book was the most fun to write, like that you enjoyed thoroughly. It was amazing for you to write that part. So would you like to share with us?
Yes, as I said, that this chapter, second chapter, is something which is very close and which was the most interesting part for me. But if you say what was the thing that I really enjoyed, I would take it the other way around. The first chapter, I would say, which was the most difficult and the challenging part also. If at all you are going to ask me this question, I'm not sure if you have planned that question, that what was the most challenging thing, because I'm just coming on to that question. That the most challenging part was chapter 1, where I actually attempted writing that chapter 3 to 4 times. And every time I used to write, I used to feel, okay, fine, this is good. Then I'll move on. After writing fifth or sixth chapter, I'll realize, no, this first is not that great. And then I would make changes in it. And then I will, just scrap that off, and then I'll start again. And I've done that 4 times. And then fourth time, I felt that, okay, no, I should not write the first chapter now. Let me finish from second to 12, and then I will see how I'm going to go back. I mean, this is something which is maybe I've not shared with anyone, and I'm just sharing it with you. And then I went towards the end again, writing my first chapter. So this was the most challenging, but at the same time, I enjoyed that the most, because I felt that, when you start reading a book or anything, the beginning plays a major role. And if you do not find it interesting in the beginning, you might just leave that. You would not. So I wanted to make my first chapter intriguing for the readers and all. So though at that time it was a bit annoying, but later on I realized that that was the best thing that I did. I kept on, juggling with the first chapter, and at the end I got it the way I wanted it. So that is something which was a great learning for me, and I enjoyed learning through that.
You have actually polished it so very well that it turned to be, an amazing chapter. So thank you for sharing, both the sides of the coin, that what was most fun for you and what was something that is, challenging. So, next question is: as an author, as you shared that you shared your reflections and you share your ideas. If I ask you, like, where do you get your ideas from? So, as you said, from the surrounding. Is there anything else like that gives you a lot of ideas about writing? So, where do you get your ideas from? If you can share.
Again, if you talk about
I think again some network issue. She'll be joining back with us in a short while. Please be patient. She'll be joining us back. I'll just check with her.
Hi, Asna. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are audible.
I'm
So,
sorry, I just don't know how did it just drop.
yeah, it
Sorry for the
happens. It
inconvenience.
happens. No, no, not an issue. It happens. That technology is not our good friend these today. Okay,
Mhm.
so yeah, I just want to check with you one more question. Like I have that, from where do you get your ideas from? Like when you start writing, so what is your resource pool? Where do you get ideas from? So if you can share with us, that would be really really great.
So, if I talk particularly about this book, Connecting Dots, uh, I again would like to reiterate that since it's my own story and it's about my own life situations, the ideas that I got was completely based on my life and my learning. Wherever I felt that in my life I came across points which were a kind of pain point for me, I tried and converted into a purpose. So my whole idea was, trying to convert your pains into purpose, come out from a victim mindset to a victor mindset. And all those things while I learned, because I wanted to be a life coach always, and I really worked a lot on myself because as I said, that there are limiting beliefs, and like many of us, even I have had those limiting beliefs, and that mindset which used to affect me and keep me low many a times. And I constantly fought, and I made sure that I have to overcome those challenges. And that's when I started feeling that I also have to leave that impact on other people. I have to make sure that if I'm trying to overcome that, but like me, there are many other people who need that support. And when you are in that darkness, all you need is just someone to listen to you and to pull you up from there. So that's what I started doing. Listening to the other person, as I said, and trying to motivate them, encourage them. So these were the things which I used to follow. My empathetic nature towards people used to make me feel that you are there for a bigger purpose. That mission that you have in your life, you have to make sure that you do that. In order to do that, I felt that I should begin from my own life. If people would want to know me, they want to see me, why would anyone come? I mean, as you mentioned at the beginning, that Connecting Dots is not just a book, but it's my platform. It's an online platform that I created during the COVID time in 2021 with the mission, with the aim of uh, giving a platform to students, mainly to students and their parents, where they can overcome their challenges. So we do have workshops like public speaking skills, like speech and drama, storytelling, and then now we are introducing a career counseling also for teenagers. So this is where I felt that I should write all these things in the book so that people know me as a coach. They can make that connect. They know where I'm coming from and what's the why behind this connecting dots. So that was the entire whole idea actually. I wanted them to know, because if you open something, if you have connecting dots, but then if till the time people would not know the why of it, the purpose of it, I don't think so. You justify it, right? So that was my whole idea, to come from there. And the ideas that I got was again completely from the incidents, real life incidents that has happened with me, with people around me. And many a times when I was in that darkness or that dark phase where I was feeling low and needed some encouragement, there were certain people around me and there were certain stories that really helped me, that pulled me from that particular phase. So I've tried to use those stories, factoids as well. And the people who were, motivators, you would always find all of us would have, we like climbers. You would have someone, some pillars around you where you meet them, you talk to them, and you feel, wow, this person always, he's so encouraging or she's so positive. You get that vibe from those people, no? So this is what even I experienced, and I used to make a note of those people. Okay, when I was in this situation, they are the ones who actually helped me. So I never forget those. And there were many who actually came across and who also have shared their story, and which I have used as it is in this book. There are many endorsements or people who have shared their feedback about me, the ones who worked with me. So I have not, then again, it's their idea, but the whole idea was that instead of me sharing my story all alone, I should involve people who know me, who have worked with me, if they can also throw some insight on what kind of person I am, what kind of experience they've had with me, so that people get to know me. So this is how I've tried to bring different, this book slightly different from the normal story. I'm sharing my story. At the same time, there are people who have worked with me. They have written their stories as well. And there are different kinds of boxes I have used. If people would buy this book, they would know. I'm just sharing it to you. I've got a copy here, and here, I don't know if it is visible. Can you see a kind of box?
Yes, yes, I can
Now,
see
the
it.
one which is simple, this with these beds, these kind of boxes are endorsement where people, whoever has given their view, those who have worked with me, like Megha Pillai from New Delhi, I'm just taking one or two names. We have, kind of given that particular box to those people, and their stories are shared. And then there are certain stories which I have used, like story the boiling frog syndrome, and we have used slightly different box here so that you can identify which one is for stories from people, which one is story from the books or other places. So that's how we've tried to bring different things here in the book and made it different. And the idea was all, I would say, from original. Again, I've not tried to see, I have not come across such books or things, so I just tried, when whatever I felt, I tried, I explored it, and it worked well.
Can you hear me, Shivangi? Am I
Yes,
audible?
I can.
All right. So wonderful, wonderful listening to your thoughts and ideas, and we could understand the source of your inspiration as well. So, my next question is people are eager to know about your writing process. So, what is your writing process like? How do you write? What process do you follow? Can you throw some more light on it? Then, we have some questions from the audience as well. So,
Mhm.
just let us know, like, how do you write basically?
Right. So for the writing process, just give me a second. I was trying to read the comments. Yeah. Yes, for the writing process, it was a simple process that I followed. Started with the drafting. As I said, I used to sit in the morning after my meditation, whatever thoughts were there in my mind, and I used to, firstly, I started with the bigger picture that, okay, this is the title, these many chapters I would want to have. So I wrote in my diary and I used to name, okay, these are the chapters. I did not title them at that time. I only knew that, okay, this would be my childhood, this would be my first job, this would be my, like this. So I broke it into pieces. And then I used to think of the incidents that which were really important in my life, that left a kind of impact on me, impression on me, and I learned something, or I did not like that. How did I feel? So those incidents I used to just jot down. I never used to write it completely. I used to just write in bullets so that I know that, okay, this chapter should have these points. And then I moved. So it started from drafting. You can say pre-writing, pre-writing and drafting, and then going on to writing it in detail. And then I used to go for editing. Now, editing, after I go through it, but I always wanted a second person to go through it, because, when you go through it, you want another eye to see, and another opinion, another person's perspective, that, okay, is it making sense? For that, I used my daughter. She's 12 years now, but she was a really big support, and she's an avid reader. She reads a lot of books. And as I said, she was the inspiration, so that I could have, I started writing. So then I used to make her read, and she genuinely used to read and give me such feedback that used to amaze me. Okay, fine, yes, okay, I need to work on this, I need to change. And then I used to ask my husband to read it and give his feedback, so that I have two different age group. And I wanted to make sure that this book should be understood by a teenager as well as a person who's a parent. It should talk about both. So that's how I worked. So again, coming back and just reiterating, pre-writing or drafting, then writing the main things, and then editing. Now, after editing, whatever were the comments, I used to rework on that and go with the final version of it. So that's how I worked, and that was a simple process that I followed.
It's simple but yet effective, and very well organized. You followed the suit, and it was amazing to hear from an author that what is the process, how does it look like and sound like from an author. And hearing from you is really an insightful experience for all of us. So I want to know, the next question is, what advice do you have for the aspiring authors or whoever is listening to you? Because I'm sure you want more people in your tribe, right? You want more writers, you want to grow more writers. So just let me know, like, she's out again. I think some network issue. She'll be joining back. Wait again for some time, for a few minutes. She'll be back. All right. Good question, Arham, and good question, Zinnia. And I'm hopeful that yeah, she's back here again, and I will get your questions answered soon. So let's go back to our previous question. Shivangi, like I think I was the question clear to you?
Uh,
So,
would you mind
advice.
repeating the question, please?
Yeah, yeah. What advice do you have for the aspiring authors? Like, if you want more people in your tribe, the writers' tribe, what would you like to suggest them? What tips would you like to give them? And what is the best piece of advice that you want to give from your end to all the aspiring authors?
Okay, that's something. Though I'm still a budding author, I would say I've just written one book. But whatever was my journey and whatever I learned, there are a few things that I would want them to keep in mind. Firstly, you would get mixed response. You would get all kind of people. Someone would say a lot of good things, positive things. Some people would tell you negative things. I would say that keep all the encouragement or encouraging words in your mind. Go with those. Leave behind the discouraging words or all the negative thoughts. Just ignore them. Go with the positive mindset. And if you have even 1% of willingness to write, I would say please write. Don't worry about the audience, whether you'll be able to sell it. No, all those things should not bother you. First of all, you should write your story. You need to write and have your own audience. Be original. As I said, don't worry again. Don't think of for your own sake, for you, for yourself, you're doing something, right? Just keep that in mind. You can never please everyone. And if you'll try to do that, I don't think so. Neither you'll be happy nor people. So always go with your own satisfaction. It should satisfy you. It should be a fulfilling thing for you. Rest, I'm sure. I mean, as I said, that not everyone prefer to read certain kinds. Everyone would have different choice. So you go with those set of people who would really be inspired and they would like your story and they would want to read the book. So please do write. First of all, don't get discouraged by people who would say that no, you should not write. There's no money. And of course, these are the things you can't have this as a source of income, but still, there's a lot that you can do through writing. So that's something I would say. Be original, be yourself. Don't think that whether you'll get result or no, you do your bit, leave the rest on the God, as we say, or on the universe. It will come the way it want to. And don't please others. Just be happy. You have to satisfy your own self. That's it.
Very well said, Shivangi, that we need to be authentic and we need to stop pleasing people. If we do something for our self satisfaction, which makes us happy, and if we stay where we belong, and forget about how much negativity is spread, because we will find people of both sorts, those who are, critics, but, they do it constructively so that we become better. And there are people who just want to pull us down, or they themselves are not up to the mark and they just don't want to see us somewhere where we are better than them. So let's read the comments. We have some very interesting comments, so I should start from Mr. Vidya Shankar Rai. He is eagerly waiting. He joined even before the session, so wonderful, sir. Thank you so much. We have Zinnia. Good evening, everyone. Zinnia is joining us from Bangladesh. Then we have another comment from Vidya Shankarji. He is writing, "Welcome, Shivangi." Then we have Pinky Oja. She is saying, "Hello, ma'am. Hello, Pinky. We are glad to have you with us." We have Zinnia saying, "Hello." Priyanka has joined us from Ahmedabad. Priyanka is again greeting you with a hello, hello, hello. And yeah, we have Arham Haider. He has joined us from Pakistan. Then we have Shweta Kapur. Shweta is really glad to see you making an impact. We have Ranjana from Uzbekistan. Then Zinnia is actually agreeing with you when you said that childhood is the foundation of a person's life, and it made us who we are today. Then we have Isaiah. He joined us from Kenya. Hi, hello Isaiah. Then we have Arham. He has a question. So if you allow me, can you please answer this question, Shivangi? He just
Sure.
want to know that how would you put down a story or narration for kids? Any suggestions that do you have?
So what I can understand is how would you put down a story or narration? That's mainly for the students, right? I mean, that
Yeah.
again depends something that you need to keep simple, easy, that they can connect well and they can understand. At times, I feel we try to use really heavy words and vocabulary to attract people, and we feel that we're really doing good, but I think we should follow a simple style, and of course they should be able to connect well. That's what is more important. And yes, if possible, use illustrations, because if we're talking about younger students, I mean, of course teenagers and all are pretty fine to read and they can connect well with the stories, but if you're talking about students of 10 below 10, then we should have more of illustrations also for them to understand it. I hope that has answered your question.
Thanks. Thank you so much, Shivangi, for throwing more light on it. So I hope, Arham, you got an answer from Shivangi. Yeah, then we have Isaiah. He is appreciating you. Great presentation indeed. It was a very great and enlightening presentation. Then
Thank
we
you.
have Zinnia. Zinnia has an interesting question. So, Ms. Shivangi, do you prefer using pen and paper or do you use digital tools for jotting down ideas? Which way do you prefer?
All right. That though that varies from person to person, but since you've asked me, I used both. I used both actually. But yes, there were times when I did not have access to laptop or computer all the time. So I always carried a diary with me during last 2, 3 months. In fact, whenever I was in kitchen doing something, some ideas or thoughts used to come to my mind, and I immediately used to come back and write those bullet points or jot down those points in a diary so that I would remember to enter it in my on my docs, which I was using, Word doc and other docs that I used as an author. So yeah, I mean, I use both because you can't write everything in a diary and then you type it again. That would have been really tedious. So I used diary paper pen thing for jotting down to create bullets, and I used to elaborate it and type it on docs using digital platform.
I hope you got the answer, Zinnia. So it was interesting, and your question was very interesting. So yeah, we have Sanjila Naeem joining us from Pakistan, and she's saying great presentation. And then Arham is saying agreed, Miss Sanjila. Now we have Isaiah asking a question. Do you need any skills when writing? So what are the specific skills that all writers should have? So what is your say on it, Shivangi?
Of course, there are certain skills which are required. And apart from communication skills, writing skills, I would say, because you need to have writing skills for sure. Otherwise, you can't write. That begins. But you don't have to have really, I would say, an author's writing style. Like at times, I remember the initial inhibitions that I used to have, and a lot of other people have, is with basic or simple vocabulary can we write, right? And that is something which I would say, yes, we can, and we can still write beautifully. The other skill is, I feel, apart from writing, is to be able to connect with people, that connection, empathizing. So when you have your characters, when you use those characters, you need to really bring in emotions and feelings, add those things in your writing, because when you have those things there, that's the only thing people will be able to connect with you. So empathy, writing skills, to be able to convey your thoughts to the other person is, again, you need to really think a lot. So thinking skills, that how are you going to think, and then organizing your thoughts in a way that people should be able to understand what exactly you want to say. So these are the things I feel that one should keep in mind while writing. These are very, I mean, of course, it's there on top of my head what I've given. Apart from this, there would be other things also and other skills which are required. But these were the points that I could quickly answer, and it was on top of my head.
Great, great hearing about your thoughts, Shivangi. Then we have Mohammed Yasin. He is also from Pakistan. Priya is very happy. What's her name? Priya. Pinky. She's saying great. And yeah, people are liking our discussion. Then Zinnia is thanking you. She thanked you because you answered her interesting question. And then Arham, he has started a unit on how we express ourselves. Such an interesting unit, Arham. It's you're going to have a lot of fun. It is an interesting unit, and you are about to cover a lot from your literacy part. So again, people are thanking, and yeah, what is proposal writing, ma'am? Okay. Can you please elaborate on this question? What is proposal writing? And if you have any more questions for Shivangi, feel free to ask. We have another 2 to 3 minutes to answer your question related to the writing process, or as an educator, when you want expert advice from a writer, so you can ask now. I request the username is Explore. Can you please elaborate on this question? I'm unable to understand it. Can you understand it, Shivangi? What is proposal writing?
No, I'm really
Right?
not clear. Even I was wondering.
Yeah. So, if you can elaborate more, we would love to answer it.
Yes,
Meanwhile, I just want to give a token of appreciation to Shivangi. Please allow me so that I can share the screen and give you that small token of appreciation that we give to all our presenters. Uh, can you see the screen, Shivangi? Is it coming up? So thank you so
yes,
much, Shivangi, from all of us. It was great, listening to you, and I'm really glad that you have revalidated that authenticity is important. And I'm damn sure your book is wonderful. I couldn't get a chance to read it. I would definitely grab a copy, and others also. Feel free to grab a copy of that book, and you would, get great insights from a great person like Shivangi. And it is a story that we all can connect with, as far as I know. So go and grab that copy of book, and you would enjoy it. So thank you so much, Astaria. So Shivangi, would you like to conclude the session? I can't see any more questions in the chat. Meanwhile, for everyone else, I'm dropping a link in the chat box. So feel free to fill that small Google form. And okay, Shivangi, you're back with us.
yes. I'm so
Please,
sorry, Asna. I don't know what's wrong with this, and it's
so
sleeping. It's
it
thank
happens.
you.
I can completely understand that. When we are presenting something, the internet play strict with us. And yeah, there is a link in the chat. So please fill that link, audience, to get your certificate. Please ensure that you're writing the correct name. If you will write the wrong name, you will get a certificate with the wrong name, because certificates are auto generated. So please feel free to fill the link if you want a certificate for this session. Then we have Khalida. She is saying, wonderful presentation. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Khalida, for sharing your positive feedback. Thank you so much. Shivangi, I would request you that to conclude the session and address everyone, whoever is here on a weekend night, to listen to you, to listen to us, and to just cherish the moments with a writer like you. So please conclude today's session.
Thank you so much, Asna. First of all, I would like to thank you for this wonderful platform once again. And a big thanks to all the audience who've been here, who've been waiting patiently, who've been listening to us so patiently. And thank you for your insightful questions. I really loved answering those questions. So thank you so much for being there. And I would like to say towards the end just one thing that in connecting dots, what I am trying now, it's after finishing this, I feel that if I can do this, You can do this too. Only if you're willing. Of course, it should not be a compulsion or a pushy thing on you. But if you are also willing, you should pursue. And trust me, I sincerely and I actually believe and say that if I can, you can do it too. So do that. And if in case you need any support from my end, I am always there to help. And you can get access, Miss Asna. You can, I mean, you all, I'm sure you would have shared the social media links or something would be there for them to connect with me. We do have aspiring authors and blooming writers coming up. Like these are the two workshops and programs. So, blooming writers is for young children starting from 8 to 17 years of age. If they are willing to write their books and get it published, we'll be there to support. And aspiring authors is for 18 and above, 18 years and above. So if any one of you need any sort of guidance or help, we are there from Connecting Dots to help you. So they can approach and connect. That's it. And thank you so much.
Wonderful, wonderful, Shivangi. Thank you so much for spending your valuable time. And I know how busy you are and how tired you are. That also I know. So thank you so much for spending your valuable time for us. It was worth listening, and we got great insights from whatever you have spoken to us. And listening from a person who has experienced what others are aspiring, are like it's always a treat to yours. And thank you so much, everyone, whoever has joined us from wherever you are from. So we are wishing you good night because we are in that part of the world. So bye bye. See you next week. And thank you so much, Shivangi.
All right. Welcome.